Orphans, mean stupid adults, wacky creatures from made up lands, and an adaptation the original author would have hated. I think you know who I'm talking about. Okay, maybe that doesn't narrow it down. Okay, maybe that doesn't specifically design, whatever. Roald Dahl. Based on what I remember of reading Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as a kid, but obviously I've just seen the movie adaptations, that, the Matilda, the witches. Sure, okay, maybe I'm not an expert to compare and contrast and for this review. I just read the Wikipedia article of the book, but whatever. It's easy to see being this part of that catalog. So much I remember the animated Netflix movie, the Willoughbys. Remember that one? It's actually based on a Lois Lowry book, but I honestly thought it was one of his books. It's a thing about, it's a world where all the adults are mean and stupid, and it's so awful for kids, and they have to take on the authority and whatever, and also whatever Wes Anderson saw, books I never even heard of. I've stated before, though, I love Wes Anderson's The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and consider it a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, and I'm one of the few who put Wonka on their top 10 list. I saw this movie thinking to myself, I mean, yeah, I say all this since we're back to bad adaptations of his books. Or at least a good movie based on his book, he would have hated the changes because he probably sucks. For reasons you can look up. But it's not here or there, so let's just talk about this movie. And so yeah, I remember on Netflix sort of teasing this, not really. It's just one of those things, so there was like no build up. But yeah, it's released on Netflix and it's directed by Ralph Rex, the internet director, Phil Johnston, the obvious choice. I don't know, it was just something I constantly forgot about. Granted, I'm at college and priorities first. Anyways, not knowing much of the book other than I think I own it and I could find it in my house if I cared enough and read it in less than an hour, but I don't. The movie is different, so here's the premise of the movie. The Twits are a miserable married couple, played by Margot Martindale and Johnny Vegas, who hate everything or love to hate everything as they cause misery on each other and everyone who comes into their path, which includes the town of Tripod, who shut down their deadly amusement park. So as revenge, they get the attention of Orphans, plucky responsible Bisha, played by Maitreya Ramakrishnan, and younger naive Bubsy, played by Roland Lopez, who I pronounced both those names correctly. And when they get their plan to expose them for the crimes they've caused that make their continuing lives miserable, only to stumble upon their amusement park's fuel source, which is the Mugglewumps family, the mother's voiced by Natalie Portman, and there are other two, the father, the son, whatever, who they rescue, but now must face the wrath of the Twits, who tricked the town to giving them more and more power to take back these creatures to bring their town back from the dead to being this wonderland that obviously is not real, but it's... I just remembered something, but I'll get to it when I get to it. But yeah, the Twits want to cause more misery than ever now, so it's up to our heroes to stop them. Let's start off with this. For the most part, the movie is mediocre, and it comes down to the art direction. It's not that CGI couldn't have worked, but the way they're designed, it's too cheap and clean feeling. Like, I think like it's supposed to be intentionally nasty, but I don't know if it worked. I don't think it would have worked as well as something like stop motion from Laika. Maybe people who made the Box Trolls would have done it well. I don't know. Remember the Box Trolls? It just kind of reminds me, like I saw a week ago, the new design for Woody in Toy Story 5, where he looks too real. Like the plastic textures helped him prior look like a toy, which he is. The art direction of the characters look like, I wouldn't say fake, but not natural enough, where it's too clean in one angle, but also too cheap to look real, and then also just being 3D animated. Their designs, they're too odd and specific for it to feel like, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. It's a personal preference, and there are actual things to complain about the movie for a number of reasons. Like, okay, the music is awful, and most of it's by David Byrne, and there's a song in the credits by him and Haley Williams that really feels generic, which at least it was a little better since these two are singing it, because sometimes the movie's a musical, which I'll get more into this, but the Twits singing most of these songs, it just doesn't work because it's intentionally bad singing, but it's not funny enough. Like, once in a while, a chuckle, because the movie is mean. It commits to showing the town is full of awful people who these orphans have to put up with, and it's the center of it all. The Twits are just mean and awful, nasty people, and there were two jokes I liked specifically, such as the woman smashing two beds in a jail cell onto her husband, like it's a triple-decker bed, and it's like something like that. It's like why this should be animated instead of just live action. It's something like that. But then the second joke is the mayor has his axe explode from like his ass explodes because he eats too much cake, and there's this bad fart joke. But it sort of kind of got me alive because then Amelia Clark Buck, who narrates this, says his bottom exploded, which, okay, that wasn't enough to work. But most of these jokes, I don't know, these jokes just either the timing is off, or it's just, as I said, it's a personal preference. But then again, the movie constantly goes back and forth from being, well, too wacky or too mean. Like, I don't know, it just never has a clear balance. My main point being, this movie just lacks good direction or a clear focus. Like, take as I said, the Amelia Clark bug gets its frame with her narrating to her son, which constantly is interrupted with him being like, wait, is this going to be a musical? Oh my god, don't fall for the obvious trap, you know, and then it's like this back where it's like adults or children or people just want to be like, they'll believe anything they hear if they want to enough, which, but okay. It's something where it goes back and forth, and we have information we missed that should have just all been exposition dumped at the front, like, you know, basic storytelling. And it's just, I don't know, it felt pointless. Like, I don't think this needed to have this ongoing narrator. If like a good movie, all the exposition was at the front, as I said, but also this movie, there's a lot of bad jokes, like the mugglewumps. The father barbs these fuzzballs because of anxiety, and there's this frog that speaks backwards, which I sort of found amusing at first, but then you lick his foot and you become your opposite self, which, geez, I wonder how that would play into the plot. I will say it was predictable. Well, okay, it wasn't predictable at first. Like, I thought this movie was like really unpredictable, but then it becomes very predictable because it's this thing where it's like, I thought they solved the issue too easily, then it's just this repetitive story of just the Twits trying to get the mugwumps back. And I don't know, it's just my other main issue with the story is that this movie is so one-dimensional. Just all these characters are either so mean and vague, and then you have these good people who are the orphans just trying to get by, and it's just so one-dimensional to the point of being very, just not interesting. I can at least appreciate between Bosch and Bubsy their relationship, and the voice acting of the person I said his name correctly before. It doesn't need to bear repeating. And I do think the voice acting is good. I think the choices for the Twits are good, and I don't think anyone's lazy. It's just the movie's problems at its core. Like, the movie, it can be amusing. I can see people liking it more than I did, but I don't know. I didn't like how it looked. It just looked too cheap to commit to being nasty looking. And the jokes are just juvenile to an insulting degree. Like I said, the butt explodes. That's the tone of this. Either it's so mean where I'm like, yeah, okay, they kind of got a chuckle. Or this is so juvenile in a way where I love juvenile humor. I love Robot Chicken, but this is something where I'm like, this feels way too simplistic for like, it has to be for little kids. But the biggest problem is I have with this movie, like at its core there's issues, but the biggest problem I have personally is the ending, which, oh, I don't know. Okay, it's insulting in a way because how much it ends is like, if it's like imagining if they backed out on Kiki's Delivery Service. There was this cop-out ending where like Kiki could hear Gigi again. And this movie has something like that where it kind of has this awful message, I think. Like, maybe I'm overthinking it because like, but the book's different. But the way the movie ends, it has this thing where it's like, I don't know, when they could have defeated the Twits, they sort of, had this thing where it would have been like how the book ended, and I think would have been like a good way to like make it feel like even if it was different, the journey to the destination was the book, but it changes it to this thing where it's like, it's a horrible lesson for kids that sounds maybe worse on context, but it's like your problems still exist, so your childhood empathy will hear others' misery like you. I mean, they let their problems still exist so they can, you know, hear the Loompa Land creatures. Yes, it's actually Loompa Land. El Oompa Land. Why am I pretending I care more than I do? Look, overall, it's a mediocre kids movie with a bad ending, and honestly, while I enjoyed parts of it, it's not the worst movie of the year. It's a C- kids film. It's not a good movie. I hated the music, though. I hated the art direction. I hated the lack of focus. And it has its moments where, if I were younger, I could find it charming, but this movie lacks the magic of being interesting or unique. It's another movie you'll find on Netflix that pales in comparison to everything else, where Pinocchio and K-pop Demon Hunters are still talking about. Give it weeks, no one will care. But thank you for watching this review. I give The Twits a 4.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. Is anyone going to watch this video? I mean, it's The Twits. Who cares?